welcome to Creatively Geeky. I'm your host for the evening, Eugene Stevens. This is episode number 3. We are still in the midst of the coronavirus, and that's probably going to be the case for quite a while. So that being said, I am joined tonight by our usual crew. We've got Jennifer, we've got Chris, we've got Ray. What are we laughing at?
Hey, you've got a laser on your head.
I have a laser on my head. Nice.
Yep.
Oh, is that Christy?
Oh,
Yes, that would be Christy.
Well done, Christy. We could see a red blur on your camera
I
lens.
was wondering about that. Thank you, Christy.
I thought I was just messing up the intro again, which I've already done a couple times. So, anyway, we've got our usual crew tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So we won't get updates from a couple of our people. Hopefully, we'll find out what's going on with them later on. But in the meantime, would anyone like to talk about the update to what they were working on from last time? Do you need a reminder of what you said?
Yes.
All right, so that's actually a good idea. Maybe I should just start running through that. So last time we met, Ray said he was going to make a list of songs that he was going to eventually start working to learn to play. I said I was going to be working on my Proton Pack. Chris said she was working on an embroidery kit. Jennifer said she was going to wrap up her bonus episode. Lauren said she was working on a cricket video, and Sean was working on building stuff.
And he supposedly did his taxes.
And supposedly he did his taxes, correct.
Gave him crap offline.
So with that being said, would anyone like to go first?
I'll go first because
I
remember
Chris.
what happened to that embroidery project.
I remember.
So what's going on with that?
I threw it in the fire.
What?
What happened?
Oh, it was hilarious.
I was so mad. Okay, so I was, I'm like, I knit, I can crochet, I like doing things with my hands. Embroidery would be perfect. So I ordered this thing online, this little embroidery kit. It was little constellations. And I'm like, okay, this will take me like a half an hour. This looks great. I love constellations, whatever. So I ordered it. I finally got to it. I started doing it. And I'm like, and then there's these little points that you're supposed to do these things called French knot. So all the TikTok and Instagram videos I've ever seen of a French knot, I'm like, okay, I can do this. And I start doing it. Well, it just pulls right through, and it keeps pulling through. And like 8 stars later, I'm not even halfway done. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And these instructions suck. I have to put this down. So I put it down, and I'm like, Ray, it's going in the fire. The whole thing's going in the fire.
I'm like, do you want me to try?
No, because if he would have done it, I would have been pissed. I'm like, what did you do? It's so magical that I couldn't do.
Is this one of those little things, the circles? Yeah. That kind of embroidery thing where you, or am I thinking of something else? Okay.
No, it's like cross stitch and embroidery. So you pull it tight over in this hoop ring, and you just embroidery design.
Oh,
it was that had it already on there and stuff. And I think I managed to get like 3 French knots, but couldn't figure out what I'd done differently from the other attempts I'd done. And I was looking at this project. I'm like, I don't want to finish it. I'm so mad right now. So I wouldn't
have thought it had been that complicated. I've never done one though.
Neither did I. I'm like, this will be soothing. It'll be something to take my. No, it was rage-inducing. It was rage-inducing. So I have since.
It was funny.
I have been in similar situations with projects, so I totally get it.
Oh no, yeah.
If I had a fireplace, it would have gone in there.
Oh yeah. And it was very satisfying to watch it burn. So instead, I've made all of these washcloths because I shut my mind off and make them.
And they're crocheted?
Pardon?
Are they crocheted out of yarn?
They're knitted with cotton yarn.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
those are like naturally abrasive, right?
Yeah, well, this one specifically has a little like. They must have frayed the fabric, like the yarn, on purpose to make it a scrubby part mixed in with the regular cotton yarn. So it's like
you've got your next green life hack for Sustainably Geeky.
Making dishcloths, because I'm almost out. And
I wanted a hat made out of that, and she's like,
no.
Like, yeah,
you can't make that. Cool. It stretches too much. Cotton yarn stretches way too much for that kind of nonsense.
So you just make it a little tighter.
So it works out well for scrubbing stuff. I'm assuming the action doesn't wear it out too bad, and then when you wash it, it causes it to
Well, I mean, I wouldn't go ahead and like scrub baked on stuff. It's just a little extra texture to get little bits off, and then you wash them in. Yeah. So whatever they've done to it, I haven't used it yet. But this is what I've been doing because it's easy and I know how to do it, and it doesn't make me want to throw it in my fireplace.
By the way, that scrubbing thing I got when I was visiting y'all, it works really well.
Oh yeah.
It's like
rectangle.
Yeah, it's like a regular rag or something, but it's like burnt or something where it's hard, you know. It almost feels like plastic, and it scrubs the dishes. So that's what I use now, and it's reusable.
Nice.
Cool.
Anyways, caveat.
Yeah, so I threw my project in the fire, and I shall not be attempting any embroidery projects henceforth.
So check that one off the list.
Yeah. There goes my Christmas gift for her.
Excuse me, can I return this giant embroidery order?
Ray, what about you? How are you on your song list?
So I do have a song list.
That he just wrote out now.
It's been in my head for a bit. I'm like, oh shit, I better write these down.
Busted.
I better write these down. But I will go one further. I'm gonna go one further. I did learn a new song.
You did, yes.
Well, yes. I was like, fuck it. It was one day. I remember it was like crappy out. I didn't really want to do anything. I'm like, you know what? I gotta get this guitar. And so I grabbed the guitar and I kind of was goofing around with chords. I'm like, if I got it out, I might as well learn something. So looked up on YouTube, found a tutorial, and started playing Monkey Wrench by Foo Fighters, and goofing around with that, which is pretty fun. So I can't wait to actually go down in the basement of the new house and get the amp on and actually like really rock out and get it a little louder.
You can't jump up and down though.
In the basement, I can jump up and down.
You can't. You're gonna hit your head on the ceiling.
Well, if I go between the rafters, I'll be all right.
Oh my god. He's gonna make your whole like new house cave in because he's just gonna hit the wrong spot and it's gonna fall down.
That's it. Now we're homeless.
Sorry.
Like,
it'll be worth it. It would be worth it. So yeah, Monkey Wrench Foo Fighters. That was the first one, new one that I had never learned before, and I really wanted to learn it. It's going to take some time, obviously, to get it under control. But anyway,
so we should have you play a song for us on a future episode.
Yes, you should.
I will. I may not do it live, but I may. I've been toying with the idea of actually recording it and putting it on a YouTube channel, and then at least it's there for proof that I'm following through.
Nice.
So, so that was that one. When I Come Around, Green Day. It's one that I used to know in high school, and I want to relearn it. So
I remember that.
My Hero from Foo Fighters. I love the song. I know the basics of it. I just got to nail it down a bit more. Times Like These from the Foo Fighters as well. It's a really good.
Getting to see a theme here.
Oh yeah, no, the next two are Green Day.
90s and early aughts.
Oh yeah.
Rock. Yeah.
Basket Case from Green Day's first album, and then I had to put this one on. It was one that I really didn't think about, but it's when it came out, it was so relevant, and it's still relevant.
Which kind of sucks.
Sorry, American Idiot by Green Day.
I was gonna say American Idiot. I don't blame you for that one, honestly.
I love that song.
It's a good song.
President still applies.
But it's a good rock out song. And I think the reason why you like those songs so much is those are all power chord songs.
Oh yeah, they're
all power chord songs.
Can I request? Can I put in a request for Bare Naked Ladies?
Absolutely.
Which one? Any Bare Naked
if
Ladies?
If I had $1 million. Well, that's my favorite, but any would do. Yeah, I love that song. It's a great duet.
I will look into that one. It's overplayed up here.
Well, okay, a different one is fine too. I like all those.
There's a reason why. So the Canadian Broadcasting Corp, not CBC, but the rules
up here for a radio broadcast, and you have to play 30% Canadian content. So Bare Naked Ladies just keeps getting played over.
Well, because
that
Celine Dion and.
No, Celine Dion's not played that much, believe it or not.
Thankfully.
We got it's Bare Naked Ladies, Marianas Trench, Loverboy, Bryan Adams. There's some weekends there's like a big Bryan Adams throwback weekend is like his.
You know what? Tragically Hip. I gotta do some Tragically Hip as well.
Not a Drake.
My list is growing. I like
little
this.
BTOs, the Guess Who.
But there are some really like
Rush.
Old Apartment.
Can't stand
No,
Rush.
I don't enjoy Rush.
They're such a standard 80s band in Canada, but I can't. I can't.
You can always play some Justin Bieber because he is Canadian.
No, he is not.
No,
I think they gave him up.
No, we're letting y'all keep that one.
No, we didn't take. I didn't say we were taking him. I just said they gave him up.
He married an American.
The rule was when we won the gold medal. The deal was whoever won the gold medal in hockey, they got to say no. So who the loser of the gold medal round, which was America, had to take Justin Bieber. So, but anyway, so Bare Naked Ladies, I love the Old Apartment. It's one that I can listen to over and over again. So I'll put that one down.
I like that one and I like Lovers in a Dangerous Time.
Yes, which was a cover
of a Bruce.
And I actually prefer that.
You could do the Big Bang. That's a really fast song.
That is a fast song.
He's got to learn how to sing and play at the same time.
That's something that I'm.
Yeah, that sounds tricky.
So
Quinny can play the drums and sing at the same time.
Yeah, he's a jerk.
Dude.
No, seriously. So we got it.
He was like 7 or 8 when we started drum lessons with him.
We got told by his teacher. The teacher pulled us aside and he's like, "So he sang and played at the same time." And we're like, "Oh, that's awesome. Okay, cool." And he's like, "Yeah, no, I can't do that. So fuck him."
7-year-old kid starts doing stuff I can't even do.
Musicians make it look so easy.
Okay.
That's
so easy.
Yeah. So yes, that's kind of my update on that one. I was pretty happy.
And because you were doing that, Logan busted out our keyboard and color coded it so she could play Bohemian Rhapsody, and she's got like all the way up to before the rock out part.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah.
So, which I will
definitely want a session of that sometime. The whole family.
I know, right?
It'll probably be just a video of her door
drums.
And her playing behind it. She doesn't like being on camera. No, she hates it.
Yeah.
She can put a mask over her. There's a lot of masks these days.
Well, everybody's wearing those masks.
Anyway. So Jen, how are you with your bonus episode? Although I already know the answer to this one.
It's out. Thanks for asking. I got the bonus episode and the regular episode out. So we did that one, I think, 2 weeks ago. And then our normal monthly episode went out 2 days ago. Mm-hmm. So, we're just pumping out the Sustainably Geekies. And I got the next one lined up, doing the test call next week. And then we'll record, I guess, the week after. Jesus, that never ends.
A couple quick things on that one. Number one, this last episode y'all did was like, that was a hell of an episode. I still can't believe y'all got, like, when you were like, oh yeah, he's like the guy for the entire state. I'm like, what? Nice.
Yeah.
The second thing is, have you watched the video version yet?
No. Why?
Okay. Well, Jennifer re-recorded the intro because, the numbering was off. And I was like, I'm just going to give this a shot and see how this works out. If you go watch the video version, you will literally see Jennifer going, "Hi, I'm Jennifer. This is episode 23." But I showed it to Christy and she's just like, and I'm like, "You didn't really notice?" She goes, "Yeah, a little bit, but if you're not really paying attention, you won't know the difference." I'm like, but I was like, if you're looking for it though, I want you to just go watch like the first, however much it is, the first minute or whatever, just to see her mouth move slightly different than, but it's clearly her voice going episode 23.
Yeah. So the story there is, when we recorded it, I knew we needed to release the bonus episode, but I forgot, in the numbering, and of course I just went 22 because that was the next one on the list, and then I realized, oh crap, we have one coming out sooner than that, so. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that was a great episode. I was really excited. We had the Texas State climatologist and weather, and he's a really smart guy. And Chris and I really geeked out.
Oh, he was so smart. It was almost intimidating listening to him talk about it. because he knows everything, and he's been doing it for decades.
Mm-hmm.
So he really knows his stuff.
Did you say it was appointed by Bush or Rick Perry?
Bush.
Yeah,
Bush.
Yes, he's been since W, was governor here.
He's been here for a while.
It's the first W.
I will say, I was also glad the fact that when you asked him, what his outlook kind of is, and he's just like, yeah, I think we can always fix things. Like don't be down, don't be discouraged. Like it's going to be a constant fight. It's still going to be an uphill fight, but we can still quote unquote win this thing. And I'm just like, sweet, that's nice to hear, because you don't hear that from a lot of people.
No, and it's so nice because he knows. He knows his stuff, and he's got the facts all in front of him. And if he says we've got a chance, then that gives me hope. I get eco anxiety, so. And my dad's like, "Oh, we're all wearing tinfoil suits anyway. What's the point?" I'm like, "Oh, Dad."
Tinfoil doesn't help you from anything like that.
He's a sportsman, honey.
And technically, it's aluminum, but that just shows a generational gap. My thing I had on there was to work on my proton pack. Technically speaking, I have done a little work. Today, I was looking over the schematics, and I found out which analog pin I'm going to have to use to turn to a digital pin to get the voltage out that I need. To at least get the signal out that I need to be able to activate the vibrating motor that I'm putting in it. I haven't started on the coding. I haven't ripped it apart. I haven't looked at it. I've literally scratched the surface on this. So, yeah, I mean, I guess technically I could put a check mark on that, but I got since the last time we talked on this show, a lot of stuff came out in the 3D printing community, and people were like, hey, there are 3D printable masks, and there are 3D printable face shields, and there are 3D printable, they're referring to them as ear savers, but they're basically a mask strap. And I was just like, you know what? This is the closest hopefully I'll ever come to being in a wartime situation, and I'm going to throw my effort into this. So I shut down my Etsy store, even though I still had people that didn't read the information still contacting me. But I shut down my Etsy store, and I had a bunch of older filament that I really wasn't using for anything. And over the course of 2 weeks, I 3D printed about 160 face shields, 160 of the straps, and I had to redesign a N95 quality mask several times to get it the way that I was finally happy with it. But yeah, I did a bunch of this work, and my mom started. She had a bunch of extra material, and she produced 160 face masks between her and another librarian friend that we have, and so we donated it to 4 separate hospitals. And thank you to Jennifer for giving me, some contact information on that to, get in touch with one of the local hospitals. But yeah, all 3 of the local hospitals here, the biggest chains, essentially, we made a pretty sizable donation. So I did put Epically Geeky on the back of the bands there just because why not?
Yeah. Because what is this? And then they'll Google it.
Exactly. But yeah, so that's instead of working on like my proton pack or whatever, or redesigning something else or whatever, that's literally what I've been doing. And between trying to help keep the house going while Christy is homeschooling the kids and doing stuff for my job and literally babysitting like 3 3D printers constantly, like every 2 hours, scrape it off, get the next set going. For at least 10 to 12 hours a day. I'm shot. Mm-hmm. And I came to realize it. What's funny is I came to realize it on a video call on Saturday. So that leads us into our main topic for the month, ladies and gentlemen.
By the way to go, Eugene, because you have been busting your butt, and the stuff you're doing is like awesome and really going to help people. Yeah. So thank you for everything you did.
Thank you. And I will pass that on. My brother did contribute to some of the face shields. Unfortunately, to do the face shields, I have to use my big 3D printer. And so that was kind of the choke point for the most part. So I asked him to contribute. He helped out with, I think, like 20 of them or what else, So luckily, I will say, talking to these local hospitals, all three of them have basically said, we are okay right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're not hurting as bad as we were because they've had other people donating, which is also really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, people have stepped up so much during this effort, and it's really like warmed my heart to see people making masks and printing things just locally and nationally. It's like, okay, this is something good to come out of a crappy situation at least.
Oh yeah, and I'm hoping some stuff's going to come out of this. Specifically, like I know the fabric masks that people are making are not N95 quality, but they're still better than nothing.
It's better than nothing.
Well better, yeah. And they're washable, so you can reuse them. That is one of the nice things about that, and a lot of people have stepped up in the local community to do that. I know Lauren has donated quite a few of them, and she's actually started making them to sell, which is also important because there are people who just simply can't find them anywhere, and having something to walk around Walmart is better than nothing.
Yeah.
The face shields, on the other hand, I should have grabbed one before the show. The face shields, on the other hand, some people in the medical community, in fact, the guy who does quality control at Scott & White contacted my aunt who I went through for the donation and was like, these may actually be even better than the ones that we buy, because the ones they buy, granted, the ones they buy have a sheet of foam on it that, rest on their foreheads. The problem is you can't wash that. You cannot clean it. So those shields are almost non-reusable. Whereas the ones that I have, if something tears, or if that plastic tears, you just go buy another piece of transparency. You buy like a sheet, a thing of 100 of them. You put 3 holes in or 6 holes in it, and you plop it back on there. But even if it's still holding up, you can take it apart. You can completely sanitize that thing, put it back together, and it's ready to go.
Yeah.
And I think the medical community was really taken aback by, wow, like we can get medical grade stuff for super cheap. In fact, I'm halfway expecting that guy from Scott & White to contact me about what printer were you using so that we don't have to buy any more of these and we'll just make them from here on out. So
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see not only the making community step up and help out with this situation, but also the fact that, we've shown that you don't have to have these. There are ways whenever there's a deficit in some cases, in the production, in large production scale, that people can step up and really help out. The guy who designed these face shields originally in Europe has donated, like, he turned his entire factory over to it and has done like 10,000 of these shields. Wow. And because Europe was really heavily hit with the virus as well, and so they were doing everything they can to try to help out the doctors and everything. So, but yeah, so that's what I've been working on. But it did lead to, like I was saying, our main topic for tonight, and that is staying motivated. That being said, I was literally sitting here Friday, and I was having a video call. I'm sorry, Friday. On Saturday, I was having a video call with some of the people from EGX, which, for those of y'all listening, EGX is the Epically Geeky Expo. It was supposed to happen in May, but like all conventions, has been pushed back or canceled in some cases.
It's not gonna be May.
Yeah,
that's never gonna happen.
And it's funny. I was literally sitting here taking notes as to stuff that I need to kind of do, and I've been keeping up with the conversations that have been had. And when they called on me, they're like, "What do you got for us, Eugene?" And I just literally kind of like went, "I don't have anything. I have nothing." And I'm sorry, but like I said, I've been trying to help Christy with with the boys. She is definitely doing the majority of the homeschooling. So I try to fill in, like, do breakfast and clean up and lunch and clean up and keep the rest of the stuff house going and stuff like that. And then I've got stuff on my job, and that keeps changing. It seems like every time I turn around. And then babysitting 3 printers every 2 hours for days and days and days. I was just worn out, and I had no motivation. And I just kind of told him, I was like, here's a couple of ideas, but I really don't have anything. I'm literally about to take a break for about 3 days. And yesterday was technically the end of that. I guess kind of extends a little bit into today, but I haven't, like, today's the first day you can hear the 3D printer going now. This is the first day in at least 3 or 4 days I've had the 3D printers going. I haven't looked at anything. I've just been goofing off playing board games online, which has been a hell of a lot of fun.
I've noticed that in the last few days.
But
I think you just turned on the the printers tonight to show off to the, so we could hear the humming.
Well, actually,
My
what I'm
3D printer.
what I'm 3D printing tonight is actually, I've got several people who have contacted me. Now that I'm kind of caught up on all the donation stuff, I'm like, all right, let me get back to my store. And I've got people who are actually like, hey, I'm willing to buy stuff because I guess they got their stimulus check and they're like, hey, I'll spend $100 on a Matrix, which I'm like, that's cool, helps my family.
Are you trying to sell the masks and stuff or the shields? You should put them on. Oh, you can't because
there's someone else's
line.
thing, and honestly, those I wouldn't feel right selling. So what I may end up doing though is I may contact the hospitals here in a week and say, hey, if y'all need more of those, I still have some more filament that's sitting around not doing anything, and I might do another donation. So. Yeah. But one of the hospitals that we did help out, see if I can get this right. My mother's best friend's niece has had really bad medical issues pretty much for all of her life. She's had multiple transplants, and she's up in Cincinnati, I think. Or am I thinking the wrong place? Anyway, and the transplant hospital up there was dying for anything. So we sent them a care package of as well.
Nice.
Of stuff. So, so like I said, there were the 3 local hospitals, and then there was that one. But anyway, so yeah, I've been shot, and I have not had any motivation to do anything really.
Well, you haven't done a lot lately, Eugene. So you really need to step it up because.
Yeah, I know I'm slacking, but
on top of all that, you've been like keeping the podcast up and posting.
Okay, but keeping the podcast up is to help my mental health. Like talking to y'all is helping my mental health. So. But
like editing it, posting it, writing all the things is still work.
That is what it is. But yeah, I have not had any motivation to do anything, and I probably needed a break anyway, although in the back of my head, I keep thinking, like Christy brought up, she's like, do you realize that we've been out for 6 weeks? And I'm just like,
wow,
that's 6 weeks that I haven't gotten this done and this done and this done. And it starts to get depressing. And I'm just like, what have I know I haven't been wasting my time. What have I been doing? And then I have to keep reminding myself, you were doing this, you were doing that. You didn't know about stuff. So you just kind of, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying not to beat myself up that I haven't gotten more things done. But like I said, it's hard staying motivated.
Okay. I have the same problem. I know it's crazy, right? I stress over things and can't stay, motivated, and no matter what I do, it's not enough. So I've been talking about this a lot with my therapist because I'm like, I'm at home all day. I feel like I'm still working 8 hours a day, but I feel like I should be able to get more done because I don't have the commute time and I don't have the this, but I am exhausted. I am mentally, emotionally, and physically exhausted every day. And the more I've talked to like her and to my friends and just other people, they're like, this is a traumatic experience your body and your mind are going through. You're not going to have the same energy, and you're not going to be able to do as much. Like, you've got to give yourself some grace here. So I'm really working on that because I have had so much trouble, like, accepting that I'm not, like, I still piles of shit everywhere. I still have my freaking Christmas tree up. Like, I can't get away from it, though. I'm in the house all the time. I'm around all the shit that I have to do. So it's even more stressful than when I can go to work and at least forget about it for 8 hours. So.
That's a big thing, and I definitely want y'all to comment on that as well. Working from home constantly. Now, granted, I think if I were a stay-at-home parent, and Chris, you're going to be able to hopefully chime in on this.
Okay.
I think as a stay-at-home parent, at least at this point, if ideally Christy would be going to work, the kids would be going to school, I would be home, I could actually get work done. But that is not the case because I'm working and it's like, oh, nope, it's noon. It's time to drop whatever I'm doing. And because if I'm at work, okay, it's noon. I put away whatever I'm doing. I pull out my lunchbox. I eat my lunch. I watch some YouTube videos. I go back to work. I'm not worried about a bunch of stuff. I have to make lunch for myself, the kids, probably even Christy. Then I have to clean it up. And by that time, it's already an hour's gone. It breaks the flow of everything. I'm just like, and then like you said, Jen, it's also the fact that when I'm at work, I'm not necessarily thinking about, oh, shit, I got to get the laundry going or I've got to get something else going. But since I'm home, it is always registered in the back of my head.
Right there looking at you.
Yes. And then I also have work, pulling up the rest of the RAM. And it's just like I feel like normally where I would have, half of my RAM capacity to play and think and do stuff, it feels like I'm burning it at both ends.
But do you think that this would be as difficult if you were here under different circumstances? Because like a lot of people work from home and it's not this stressful and it's not as difficult to feel like you're being productive.
No, it's definitely that as well, because on top of, like we said, doing work, doing stuff at home, you also still have in the back of your head, okay, well, we've got to get groceries.
Mm-hmm.
Normally that's not a problem. You put everything on the list. Oh, you're out of this flavor yogurt and you substituted for the other one. Okay, who cares? That's not a big deal. It's not like, sorry, you can't order toilet paper because we still can barely keep it stocked. And it's just like, okay, so that's something I've got to think about. Something else that's eating up my time is, all right, well, I'm going to dedicate Wednesday to getting dressed and putting all my protective equipment, and I'm going to go scavenge for toilet paper and hamburger and whatever else, and that may mean going to 2 or 3 different places, and that takes hours.
Yeah.
And you've always got that like emotional turmoil of what's happening in the world and who is affecting, and like how many people are getting sick, and you're hearing all this negative news, so that's draining as well. I think we're constantly like stressed about that, so we're on hyper alert, and it's just.
So Chris,
so what's your question?
Well, I was going to say, did you feel, I mean, granted, we didn't have a pandemic going on the planet at the time, but when the kids were gone and Ray was at work, did you feel like you were able to get stuff done, or did it feel like it just constantly?
So I have a bit of a skewed kind of perspective of this. I was a functioning depressed person I've been for like the last 5 years. So for me, it's a lot of sitting on the couch, hating myself. And it wasn't until last year when I started working with my sister-in-law that I had lost purpose in my life, because the kids are old enough now that they don't need me. You're getting to this point too with your kids, Eugene. They're 8. I mean, really, you're just sort of making sure they stay alive, because you don't physically have to feed them. You don't physically have to dress them. You don't have to physically take them to the toilet
everywhere.
You don't have, your time is not spent physically immersing yourself with this child. So with the kids being older, I mean, they're 14 and 12 now, over like when they first went to school and it was just me at home, I was like, yeah, all right. What's mom gonna do today? This is awesome. And I loved it. And it lasted about 2 or 3 years where I was just really in it. But a lot of my friends were still at home too. So I still had that bit of a community. Now it's everybody's working, and I have held a lot of guilt for not going back to work. But it is easier for one of us to be at home, who does all the home stuff and everything like that. But in the same sense, with the kids getting older, I've sort of lost my purpose as to why I am at home, other than sort of keeping home stuff going. And it wasn't until last year when I started working with my sister-in-law that it started coming back, and I actually started feeling a lot better and realize and not sitting at home all the time, because that's a lot. What I don't think people understand is when you're a stay-at-home parent, you're at home and that seems all great. You're at home and you never leave. Like, you get to leave your job. You get to get it. Home should be your respite. So you go to work, you do your thing, you put up with your work drama, but then you get to leave it there and come home. When you're a stay-at-home parent, it's just there all of the time. I mean, you can go for a walk, you can go hang out with your friends for a couple of hours, but you're still at home 24/7, and it never, 365 days a year, so it never ends, and it's mentally exhausting. And when you are a depressed person like me, who is very prone to comparing myself to other people, things like that, it can get really bad. And when I was working with Rebecca, it brought me out of that, and I had purpose. So I wasn't thinking about, all this shit at home. I wasn't comparing my life. I wasn't doing all those toxic things that I was doing. Now she's back with a vengeance, because I'm sitting here and I'm not doing anything. And when we move, I don't have a job. I don't have anything to look forward to. So it's what I felt last year right before I started working, I'm feeling now. So it's panic attacks, it's crying, it's the last 6 weeks have been shitty because I've just, and it was sudden. It was like hit me like a freight train. And I felt awful because I was like, oh my God, I should be doing better. I should rise to the occasion. And then here we go. And I haven't been able to. So for me, functioning is hard on a day-to-day basis. So thankfully I have an amazing husband and 2 amazing children who are like, okay, recognize when mom's having a bad day and can kind of pick up the slack because they're old enough now that they can understand. Like they did today, which was amazing.
Today was an amazing day for them. Yeah.
But yeah, being mentally ill and going through this is just, it fucking sucks. It does. It sucks. The last 3 days have been really, really shitty.
I'm sorry, friend.
Believe me, you're not the only one feeling this way.
Oh, I know I'm not
it's
the only
hard.
one. Yeah,
it's hard. Yeah.
Knowing that I'm not the only one, like this is widespread. But yeah, being a stay-at-home parent is, I think a lot of people who were working parents who looked down on stay-at-home parents are now getting a massive dose of what that's actually like. You're never leaving the house. Guess what? Stay-at-home parent, this is your work. This is your job. You're never leaving.
And you gotta homeschool.
And you're not getting paid, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just been hard. And with the kids' school, I don't really do much. I'm just sort of observing because, like, are you answering your questions? What do you got to do today? Are all your links working? If they're not and you have a question, please email your teacher. Like, just trying to get them sort of managing that time for them because I mean, I don't need to sit there and help them read and help them spell and all that stuff. So it's been a mixed bag. So staying motivated to do anything, I have to, sometimes it's literally a voice in my head going, get out of bed. Get out of bed now. And it's literally me going, okay, set the phone down, throw the covers off, and get out of bed. So if I get out of bed, make the bed, manage to get myself some sort of hot beverage in the morning, like with the breakfast, that'll kickstart it. But it's that voice in my head literally going, sometimes after like 2 hours of laying in bed, be like, get out of bed, yelling at me in my head. So it's been rough. I've been trying to be good, but sleep's the hardest. Sleep is very, very hard to come by. So I've been self-medicating, which is not a good thing, but melatonin has sort of been saving my life right now.
Yeah, and self-medicating as in melatonin.
Melatonin. I don't drink.
That's what
I don't drink, and I don't do drugs. I have a stockpile of melatonin that I will take at night.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that for the last week.
I really think this whole pandemic will change the way we as a society look at mental health and approach it.
I hope so. I really do.
Yeah, I hope it makes more people take it more seriously and also erases the stigma that is associated with it a lot, or just, people will get help that need it or whatever. But yeah, we're all going through something. I think more people are experiencing these emotions, and it's going to be, it's only, exacerbating what people may have already had underlying or whatever. But yeah, it's been a tough few weeks for sure.
Yeah, it's been, like you, Eugene, it's been 6 weeks of being at home. And, when you're a stay-at-home parent, you're at home anyway, but you have that freedom to sort of make your day up as you go, like, oh, something came up, I got to go out and get this. And you can leave the house and you can go visit people and you can just set it all up and your time is your own. Now it's like my time is not my own. It has got taken away from me and I can't do anything. And now that we're moving too, we went to go see my aunt the other day.
Yeah.
And
that was difficult.
It was hard because this is my favorite aunt and my initial instinct is to go and hug her. Mm-hmm. And I can't. So I'm just standing there looking at my aunt and we're looking at each other and it's just like, this is just weird and bizarre. And she's been having a rough go of it too. She's my cousin, her oldest is severely disabled. So she's had a hard time with personal support workers and how that's supposed to work out. And so, yeah.
So the interesting thing with that was I think it was actually helpful for you and for her to just stand there and talk because we were there for at least 3 hours of that. And standing outside, and
It was
just
cold.
It was cold.
Really cold.
And those two were just talking
We were chatting
for 3 hours, and it's good for them. So you kind of
Yep.
Our plan for the day was shot,
shot.
but that's fine. I mean, it was a needed time. So I'm gonna jump in on that part where you're talking about the kind of working from home, and because I do have to work from home. It is extremely difficult right now because this is something you actually brought up on the back channel there, Eugene. The internet is not built for what it's being used for right now.
Nope, it is not. It is perfectly fine. Almost everybody in the universe can download high quality Netflix at any given time, but anytime anyone needs to try to do a Skype call, we start getting exactly what you're hearing on our thing. Now, granted, we're recording late enough that most people aren't doing it, so it's not that big a problem. But if you're doing it for a business, like people are constantly getting, stuttery, or they're freezing completely, or they're just getting dropped from the call.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I'm hearing that from everybody. So
yeah. So for my work, I'm able to log into a computer from home. So I have a specific login that I go through, and I do that. The problem is everybody else has to do that at our work, and we employ somewhere around 4,000 people. Wow. So our system gets drained pretty quick. Now, there are certain times of the day. So at 8:15 every morning, I'm to be on a phone call to discuss my plan for the day with my boss. So I get up and I do that. There were some times I would try and jump on the computer beforehand. There's no point because I can't log in. Like, it's just, there's too many people. So there's that part of it. And then at 3 o'clock in the afternoon as well, there seems to be this influx of people that just, need to log in to finish off the day and do their thing, which is when I have my last call for the day. So I found a couple of sweet spots that I'm able to get some work done. But the other thing is that we share a computer with the kids who have to do their schoolwork. So we have one computer for the 3 people that need to do the work. And then, Chris wants to use the computer for other stuff too, because she's got stuff.
I found a show that I like to watch.
But there's nothing, it's not fair that, only one person gets the computer the whole time. Yeah. So
that's
we've had
interesting, time managing that.
Time managing the computer has been very interesting.
Yeah.
There's been times where I'm like, Logan, like, sweetie, I need the computer. I know that you're almost done your project and you're really close. Your time's up right now and you're gonna have to go back to it, which is hard to do because I know when you are motivated and you are in it and you got the juices going, you don't want to stop. And it's kind of one of those hard things. Mm-hmm. The other thing I was going to say is back when Chris was working and the kids were going to school, and back when things was
kind of normal.
Sort of normal.
Yeah.
I was working 4/10s, so I would be working Monday to Thursday. I would have every Friday off. And what was amazing about that was the stuff that I could do around the house was incredible. I'd always get
You enjoyed those days.
It was great because I'd be able to go get stuff that I need. I'd be able to go do stuff around the house, and I'd have that time where you can just be by yourself and do things. Mm-hmm. I'm an introvert, as much as it might surprise some people that listen to this thing.
A huggy introvert.
I'm a very huggy introvert. Yeah. I am a very affectionate person, but I am an introvert. And as much as I love my family, and as much as I love the kids, and as much as I love my wife,
you just want to be alone.
There's times where you want to be alone.
Yeah.
And so what we've learned is 620 square feet is not enough for 4 people to be alone.
This house has felt so claustrophobic, especially the closer we get to moving to a bigger house that's more than twice the size of this, the more it's just like, oh my fucking God, I need to get out of here.
It's almost like this virus is the house's version of just like trying to squeeze y'all super hard, be like, no, don't go. And you're just like, you're just stressing the point. Let me alone.
Yeah.
So, but to kind of turn this around and back into what the whole conversation of the show is actually supposed to be is what motivates you. I gotta say 2 things. One is when I pulled out the guitar, and next thing you know, Logan's inspired enough to pull out the piano and do that kind of stuff. Watching the kids get inspired by doing those things makes me want to do it more often. The other thing today was when Chris was having a hard day, and I'm trying to deal with that. The kids recognize that, and they come out to me and they're like, listen, we're going to do something special for Mom. We're going to clean up the house. We're going to make sure the dishes are all put away. And then when you guys come in, we've set some clothes. They're nice clothes. Set them aside for you. Can you guys get dressed into those? We're giving you guys a date night. We're going to make dinner for you. And, and so they did all. And it was really touching moment. It was pretty cool. So kind of felt like we did something right there. So
yeah, definitely.
They made you vegan cinnamon rolls?
Well, Logan, she's got my cooking and baking are her stress release. So we've been well fed this last 6 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Nobody's coming out of this any thinner. And she watching her gets me motivated. It's because my mom was the exact opposite. Get out of the kitchen, leave me alone. I'll tell you when it's done. So she was very much the opposite. It just magically appeared. So now it's nice that she wants to do it. And so I'm kind of teaching her, but also standing back and letting her do it. So her and Quinny made hash browns for us, our egg of choice.
Yes.
And bread of choice.
Bread of choice.
And then she got it. We have these antique teacups from your grandma.
Yes. Yeah.
So I had Dr. Pepper with an ice cube in this teacup.
Oh, that's
Nice.
so cute.
Get refilled. And then Logan wanted to make dessert, and so I pulled out one of my cookbooks and said, how about cinnamon rolls, because everybody in the house likes cinnamon rolls. And so it's her first time making them, and they turned out really well. But she enjoys doing that stuff. So watching her do it is motivating. It makes me happy to watch her do that kind of stuff. But yeah, the kids are big motivators.
Well, for me, especially with the art and the music.
Yeah.
It's because I know that Logan really enjoys her art to kind of get out her frustrations.
That's her stress relief too.
Her stress relief. So I haven't got my art going right now, and it's been
because it's all
at the new place.
It's all at the new place.
But I can't wait because I'm gonna start goofing around with that again, and yeah.
Nice. To kind of pile in on that. So one of the things I did the other day was I was like, hey, why don't we play something or do something, guys? Since I'm taking some days off and not really doing anything. And they're like, would you play Minecraft with us? And I'm like, yeah, okay, it's been a while since I played Minecraft, but I'll play Minecraft with y'all. And they were super excited because it was them and their cousin. I said, like, the one stipulation is we have to do survival mode. I'm like, because I want to do that so that there's some stuff going on. So I'm doing my best mining and stuff, and I've like dug a really deep mine or whatever, and I'm hearing them talking, and they're like, oh, I have a dog now, and now I've got a cat, and I'm decorating this, and I'm just like, what? Like the level of stuff they're doing is well advanced anything that I've ever done. I'll be honest. Like I was like, I really didn't know you. I mean, I knew you could train a dog, but I've never done it. Or a wolf, you train into a dog. And I'm like, okay. And they're doing all this stuff. On the other hand, though, I'm like, man, I've got to find some more ore. Oh yes, I found ore. And they're like, what are you doing, Dad? And I'm putting the ore into the oven, and then I'm getting ingots, and then I'm taking the ingots, and I'm actually making the weapons. Which, when you're in creative mode, you just say, oh, I need a gold axe, whatever. Yeah. And so they were just like, I didn't know you could do that. And I'm like, how did y'all skip all the basic stuff and went straight to the advanced stuff? And I'm stuck in the basic stuff. But it was a lot of fun because I was showing them stuff and they were showing me stuff, and they had a blast playing Minecraft with Daddy because that's always the novel thing to play with the oldest kid. So
never played it.
But I mean that kind of motivated me a little bit. But like, for example, so this is kind of odd. I have one in the spirit of Halloween ghost traps that I modded, and I added smoke and lights to it, and I've got it looking exactly how I want it. It looks great. I'm happy with it. Done. And all of a sudden they released the exact same thing at Walmart now for $20, and this one actually has a foot pedal, whereas the other one just had a button on it. Now, the reason why that makes a big difference is if you know about Ghostbusters, that's how you open and close the trap, is from the foot pedal. Yep. And the spark just immediately hit me, and I'm just like, I need to get one of these things because now I can make a essentially functioning ghost trap on the cheap. Like the one that I have now is great because I can sit there, I can push the button, I can get the lights in it. But to be actually able to roll the thing out and hit it with my foot, I'm just like, and for $20 plus whatever. And so even though, I'm thinking I need to work on my proton pack, but I'm kind of wanting to push that just a little bit just so I can maybe show off at this one meeting. I'm motivated by that because I know what I need to do on that thing, and I generally have an idea of doing it. I'm to the point right now in that project where I'm like, okay, I kind of have all the creative stuff done. Now I've just got to do it. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of like, oh, a lot of this I'm going to be redoing work I've already done, which I always hate doing. But, the ghost trap is, most of it would be done, but there's still a little bit there that I'm like, well, how is this plugged in? Can I extend this cable? If I can, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And so seeing something and trying to figure it out motivates me. And I've figured that out. It's the creative, trying to figure out how it works and everything. That's motivating to me. Mm-hmm. Doing the work, a lot of times, for the first time, is also motivating to me, but not redoing it, which is why I do repair work around the house, but I'm not really ecstatic about doing it.
Yeah.
So, because it's like, yay, I get to fix the dryer again.
And then I get to fix my friend Jen's dryer. It's not really broken.
Yay.
But it worked out. That's all that matters. But yeah, for me, finding something creative to do, a creative problem to figure out, tends to motivate me to stay energized and get stuff done. It's when you get down into the nitty gritty of executing it, or especially if you have to redo it. And I know that's a big thing. I'm not afraid to fail, but I do try to take every step I can to make sure I don't, just because I'm not afraid of the failure. I'm not happy with the fact I've got to redo it again.
Yeah.
So that's a downer for me, but yeah, the finding something new and interesting like that kind of motivates me. So, what's something that kind of motivates you, Jen?
I'd say nature. Being in nature, being outside, just recharges me, gives me, that extra boost. Especially lately, like I couldn't do this if I didn't have a garden and a yard and, a neighborhood to walk in or whatever. Like it's been really tough. And I've tried doing, I made a post about this on Facebook. I've tried the meditation thing. It doesn't work for me.
I can't meditate.
I've accepted that.
Meditate me.
Yeah, it's just not. I'm not made for it, and I know people say it's a muscle. You got to practice it, but it's one of those things. And this is again something I was talking over with my therapist, and she was saying, you might just be one of those people who needs adrenaline and who needs to be like constantly stimulated, for lack of a better word, like. Getting out in nature is more meditative to me, and like hiking and being active than just sitting down in a room full of things that, full of projects that I need to do. Mm-hmm. And then I can never concentrate or find a Zen place. But like if I go outside, I could just stare at a tree for 10 minutes and get lost in it. Or, I can just be digging around the garden. The next thing I know, 3 hours is gone. And I'm just like, wow, I feel so relaxed. It's so I would say being outside, really inspires me or it motivates me. And it also kind of reminds me like what I'm fighting for, what I'm out there trying to save, seeing it in action and nurturing it and trying to make my own little corner of the world the best possible habitat it can be. So it's things that I'm learning.
Well, see, and so that's a good, so you saying that, going outside and seeing nature and it reminds you what you're fighting for. That's one of the reasons I'm having a hard time staying motivated for a lot of the projects that I'm working on, because I've also lost that motivation. I don't have that definitive hard date of, oh, guess what? In 3 weeks, you've got a convention to go to so that you can dress up as a Ghostbuster and show off and make kids happy and make adults happy and take pic. I don't have any of that for the foreseeable future. And so it's one of those things that's like, yeah, I really want to get my proton pack done. For me?
Yeah.
So it's, I also find that motivates me as well. Like, having and it's funny, some people are definitely, this is definitely not a hard set rule for some people. Some people having a deadline just like will destroy your motivation. Mm-hmm. Whereas, I found myself in Adam oh, what is his name? From
Savage.
Mythbusters, Savage. Adam Savage specifically said that he was like, I had projects in my workshop for years that would probably never got done until I finally said, nope, I'm wearing this at Comic-Con next year, and so I have a definite date. You've got 3 months to get this thing done, and so it motivated him to do it. So I've found having a hard set date on some things can be disruptive, can be destructive to me as well, depending on if it's something that I've just overshot on. But not having some of those definitive dates is hard. So it's hard trying to get myself motivated to do it as well. I'm trying to keep thinking, okay, I need to get this thing done because I may be going back to work in some capacity, and then I won't have that time. And then I'm gonna look back and be like, oh wow, you just spent 8 weeks not doing anything, because that's how my brain works.
I think that's a lot of people's. It's the whole society set up. Like the more busy you are, that equates to more success you are, how much better of a person you are. And if you're not optimizing your time constantly, there's something wrong with you, and you're not as good. So that's where I struggle, is like I have a hard time finding. I'm a queen at procrastination, just an epic queen, and I will find any reason not to do something. And it's hard because it feels like, well, then I have all this time, I'm at home, I should be cooking everything from scratch, and I should have meal plans out the ass, and my house should be immaculate, and I should have a garden envy of a magazine. Like I should be doing all these things because I have all this time at home. And it's just like, yeah, I watched about 8 episodes of Friends, and I got in my pajamas at like 3 o'clock, and I went for a walk, and like there's those days.
Started The Office again.
I started The Office again for the 13th time. Like it's just things like that. So it's hard to accept that those days are just as good as the uber productive days. It's really hard to not be like, okay, well that was a shitty day where I did nothing, and then this day where I got everything done was so far better. Mm-hmm. But both wound up making me feel the same at the end of the day.
Yeah. I have severe guilt over no matter what I do. It's if I do a ton, like you said, it's great, but there's still more to do. And then when I don't do enough, I didn't do anything. I'm lazy. I'm whatever. But it's like I need to recharge. I need to let myself recharge sometimes. Let myself sleep until noon or whatever stupid time my body says it needs to sleep. But I'm constantly like waking myself up because I'm like, I gotta get up, and then I don't want to get up.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Why are we like this? Humans. Humans are just.
I think part of the reason is, and this is something this is really, this whole thing is trying to put it. I don't know if it's putting it in perspective for me or not. I don't know. It's a good reminder once in a while. It's a journey, and we got to remember to enjoy the journey, because once you get to the end of something, you're just constantly looking for the next thing. And I think that's what I learned from the house project, right? Like we thought this was going to be our forever home.
Yes, we did.
And we were going through it, and now it's done, and we're like, okay, well, what's next? So that's I like the deadline of something, and I do like that end of it. But where I'm going with the guitar is, it's the process of learning something new, and it's the process of going through that. And I'm really trying to focus on enjoying hearing the progress that I'm making, watching the kids go through the progress that they're making. And Logan was getting frustrated with a certain part of the Bohemian Rhapsody, and then she kind of was working through it. I'm like, kiddo, that's what you got to do. You just got to, it's a process. You got to remember that the journey is what you're going for. That's what life is. And it was kind of that's what I'm trying to take away from this whole thing. So
that's a good point.
Think very differently.
Yeah.
That's a good point, because I'm not good at enjoying the journey, and I am I look at things around like the garden and the house. When I have a new project come up or a new task that needs to be done, it's automatically an instant stressor for me. It's another thing on the list. It's a huge, just like, oh, I've got to go do this now, and I've got all these other things to do, rather than looking at it as, no, that just means like there's more time I can spend out there, and it's a constant improvement, like you said, and like retraining my brain to think that way is really difficult, because I am the kind that just looks at it as, you know, rather than it being relaxing, because I have another friend who's always in her garden and she's like, this is the most zen place for me and it's so relaxing. And I'm like, but there's always things to do and plant and pull and, you know, move. And she's like, yeah, but it's like great. It's a never ending project. I'm like, it makes me crazy.
Never ending project to you sounds exactly the way it seems to me. What do you mean never ending? What? No, there has to be a done date.
Yeah.
Like I have to put this behind me at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am trying to look at things that way, right? Like, this is a journey. I need to enjoy the experience, even if the hose breaks 3 times and you have to put a new clamp on it and it still doesn't work. And, you know, like things like that. Stupid things that happen.
Yeah. Let me ask y'all. So do you have anything that you a go-to that you're like, okay, I need to get this done, or I really need to work on this. I need something to just kind of, you know, give me a little kick. You said, Chris, you know, getting something hot in the morning helps.
Oh, yeah.
That helps. And you know what? I have definitely resorted to that from time to time. Late afternoon, I'm just like, you know what? I need a soda. I need something that has just a little bit of a kick just to kind of keep me going. And I found that helps. So besides food, is there anything else? Is there any particular music maybe you go to that you're just like, all right, I'm going to listen to this. I'm going to get pumped and I'm going to go get that shit done.
Well, for you, it's knowing you can listen to your podcast without anybody rolling their eyes and groaning.
Yeah, I've got a couple of hockey podcasts. They're still on, even though there's no hockey. They're talking about Tiger King. They're talking about Too Hot to Handle. But, you know, it's entertaining.
Right.
I yell a lot. It's hard to listen to sometimes.
Yeah. I enjoy it. I know that I enjoy a coffee, especially in the morning just to get going. Mm-hmm. What I think motivates me the most, though, like if I'm really struggling to get a project done, it's okay. The night before, I'll set the day. Okay, tomorrow I'm doing this. Mm-hmm. The night before, I make a list, and if I can start checking something off that first bit of the list, okay, I do the first thing, a second thing, and then that's what motivates me to get the whole thing done. That's how we've had to do, because we were getting a little overwhelmed with the move, and
it's not a regular kind of move.
No, we've had to do this in a very different order than we normally would have.
We're getting very creative with this, which has been interesting.
So one of the things up here is that the dump is
all
closed.
The dumps are closed to the public.
We have no access, so we can take our. So the garbage side pickup is still available, but for anything that doesn't go into the garbage normally, like say a crap ton of wood or a chair that doesn't work anymore, you can't just toss it out. So I called the dump and I asked them what they would recommend, and they said that, well, there's a guy that does pickup, and so I called him, and he was going to be expensive, and it was going to be a while for him to get all of this stuff. So then I called the company and I looked it up, and there was a garbage bin that for like waste, like renovations and stuff like that. And so they dropped off a bin and it's full, ready to go. And that way we could so we had to be a little bit unique, but it's the deadline that has helped, definitely.
Yes, because on the 7th, this place is no longer ours.
Yes, so we can't be here anymore.
Legally, we can't be here anymore. The 7th is a very hard, fast day. Like, that's it. Like, there's no finessing this.
So one of the changes, especially in me this particular time around, I'm a very good procrastinator. I'm somebody that I can just kill a day like nothing else.
Sometimes.
It is fantastic. The shit we come up with.
To not do something.
It's amazing.
We're pretty good about that.
That being said, this time round, it was me kind of poking.
You were.
Chris was like, maybe we should start taking the pictures off the wall. Yeah. Maybe we should start doing this and that and the other. And she was like, no, we're going to wait. I'm like, but this is.
Your pictures are down.
Yeah.
They're all down.
Yeah, they're all down. This is a totally different move than what we're used to, so we need to start figuring some shit out now, because there's going to be bumps in the road that if we wait for the last week, which is what we normally would have done,
because it would have been a regular move. So we couldn't do things regular way. Yeah.
So I'm very thankful that we got ahead of it and really started working on it well before we normally would have.
Yeah.
So
which would have been the week of. You were
the
very
week
correct.
of. Oh, absolutely. We would have started packing May 1st.
Yep.
May 1st. Oh, it's May. Okay, now we can start
pack.
thinking about packing stuff.
Because normally, like, I remember before we were going to England, one of my coworkers, every time I saw her for like a whole month before, she's like, have you started packing it? Have you started packing it? I'm like, who packs 3 weeks before a trip? Who does that? That's crazy. I said, no, I'm packed.
Eugene does.
I do not think
So I was like,
I just know everything I'm going to pack, like, already, because it's a very simple equation for me. 6 days, 7 pairs of underwear, 7 pairs of socks, this many clothes, done. It's a very simple equation.
I tried to pack that early. It never happens.
Yeah, I never pack that early. I usually am the day before, depending on when we leave, or the day of, because for me, I think better that way. And so that's what I did. So with this, it was every other move we've done, we've only ever done it like the week of, because it didn't make sense to pack everything up that early on, because it was a normal move and it was different. We had a lot of help. This time it's the 4 of us and a U-Haul truck.
Nice.
That's it. So it's been definitely, but yeah, you have been the leader of this whole, usually it's 50-50,
but my list has been
but the list making has been really good. Like,
huge.
And you'll bang it out in a whole day. Like the whole day, what took you one day to cancel all the services here and set up all the services at the new house.
And confirm that everything was already there.
One day was done.
That was done, and then
that was last week.
That was last week that we did that. Yeah, thankfully. It's been killing me. I can't change our address on the driver's license yet. I want to do it so bad, but they're like, no, wait 6 days before you. I'm like, no, I know what my address is going to be. It's going to take at least 3 weeks for you to send it to me.
Exactly.
Send it to me now. So I might next week.
Oh God.
But yeah, I can only imagine. Oof.
This deadline right now. Yeah. It's been. That's all.
It's been a unique experience, and I am thankful for it, because it's. I know you're still in the middle of it. I am thankful for it because
forcing you to.
It's been a different move for me. It's been a different motivation for me. I've had to get up and do things a lot differently.
Yeah.
Kind of gives me a glimpse into what retirement might be for me someday, where it's like, okay, I don't have a job to go to, so how do I get up in the morning, and it's not a weekend where I'm waking up at like 10 or whatever. I actually want to do stuff today, so let's set the alarm and let's actually get up and do something more than just whatever we want that day. Let's set a plan. So
see, I'm so looking forward to retirement.
Oh, don't get me wrong, I'm looking forward to retirement.
Not that I'm looking forward to having, because I love my boys, and of course I keep making the joke, when you're 18 you're out, but the fact that I'd be able to get up and be like, what do I want to work on today? I'm gonna build another proton pack. Cool. Instead of having to be like, all right, well, I gotta get dressed and I gotta do this and I gotta drive to work and sit there. Yeah, like I'm ready. But yeah, like I said, a shot of caffeine tends to help me or whatever. But I've noticed like a lot. I'm like you. I love being able to have long stretches of time to be able to put my headphones on and not talk to anyone and just listen to a podcast or a book or something. But I have found occasionally I'm just like, you know what? I need to listen to some music. Just something that's got a beat to it, so that it kind of gives me a little bit more motivation to keep going. So because sometimes it's just like, yeah, I've listened to this book and I enjoy this book. It's a good book. It's a funny book, but I need something to kind of keep me going. Like I need something to kind of rile me up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, staying motivated is, we had planned this a couple months ago before all this shit hit the fan. And so it was like, I think this is a really good idea to talk about. And then of course last month it was like, nope, we're going to talk about other stuff. And this month I'm like, nope, we need to talk about me staying motivated because I can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to know if y'all can, and if you can't, I at least feel better that no one can. So
yeah. If anything, for me, getting motivated just to making my bed starts my day. Like if I need to make it before I feel like I'm good to go. Like I can't, and if every time it literally making the bed happens for me like in the first half hour of getting up. I have to make it. It just doesn't feel like
You can just crawl back into it.
no, I can't
Never make my bed.
I've heard
it's been drilled into
Never
me.
do it.
Yeah, we make our bed every day, but
One more thing to do in the morning.
I've heard a lot of people.
Making the bed.
I've heard a lot of people say this about working from home, particularly. Get up and change clothes. It
Yes.
doesn't matter necessarily what you're wearing,
Yeah.
but get out pajamas. And I've noticed the days that I just like, no, well, it's fine, just I'll wear this or whatever, it'd be fine. I've noticed I don't get as much stuff done if I don't throw on, even if it's just shorts and a t-shirt, whatever. Just like as long as I'm changing into something that I would find acceptable going to Walmart in. At least I'm like, nope, I feel better about the day already.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. Those are loose and fast rules.
Right?
Okay, no, those are hard
Your
rules
standards
for
are higher than most,
me.
probably.
You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. I have higher standards than a lot of other people, I'll be honest. So, but
getting dressed, getting changed. I know, especially being a stay-at-home mom, like if it's very easy to stay in your pajamas all day long because who's gonna fucking see you? Nobody. But it starts playing on your head, and it's like it starts to physically drain you to be in the same clothes all day, like from the time you get up and you never change. So even if I'm literally changing from pajama pants to jogging pants, that's amazing. It feels it's fresh. It's fresh clothes. I haven't slept in them. They feel different. So yeah, getting changed into whatever. And if like Logan's put on a full face of makeup several times since she's been home, just because she's like, let's put some makeup on, and she gets bored, so she'll put a full face on. She's not going anywhere. She's not seeing anybody, but it makes her feel better.
I can understand that because it's like we talked about earlier. It's literally, even though you're not necessarily making a drastic change, you're still shifting gears in your brain. I'm shifting from it was bedtime
Get ready for
at
bed.
home. I'm going to work, still at home, but I'm going to work now. At least I've got that. And I think if I did that more, it might help with the separation, going back to what you said, Jen, of constantly having all the stuff at home I need to get done and all the stuff I've got to get done at work. If I need to just start putting on clothes and be like, nope, it's work time. Try to shut this down and just, because otherwise it gets overwhelming.
Yeah.
So, well, does anyone have anything else they want to add to the conversation, or should we go ahead and move on to our goals for next month?
Goals for next month. What are they?
All right, let's go ahead and move on to that. So I have a feeling I know what Ray and Chris's goal for next month is going to be.
Yeah, ours is sort of easy. Moving.
So yeah, I think y'all definitely get a pass. I don't think y'all have to necessarily come up with anything creative you're going to try to get done before then. I think trying to move into a new house is probably creative and this is going to get. So
yeah.
That's going to be the biggest thing for the next couple weeks here is because
we've got 2 weeks.
Yeah, we've got 2 weeks. And then so it'll be packing up and unpacking, and my creativity will be in my Tetris abilities to pack everything into the U-Haul.
Yes.
Nice.
Although I will say I would like to have at least picked out a paint color for Logan's bedroom.
Yeah, that'll be
Because
Oh, there you go.
Her room does have to be painted. It's 2 different colors right now, and we've got to get it down to 1 color. Yeah.
And we'll, when we do move in, we'll make sure we call you guys and do a video tour of the area. And yeah.
Absolutely. That's going to be awesome. Jen, do you have a creative idea or plan for something you'd like to get done before next month?
Okay, so I was looking at my list here. It's about 3 pages long, and there's a lot of stuff crossed out, but I keep adding to it. So I'm like, wow, all this shit is like cleaning or organizing or nothing creative, really. But there is one thing on there that I have been trying to get to. I, for some fucking reason, thought it would be a good idea to order a cheese making kit in the middle of all this.
It's awesome.
That's awesome.
Oh my God, you have got to document this.
Actually 2, but mostly because I was trying to support a local business, and it's a beer, like a brewery supply store. And I want them to do well because they moved to our downtown, and I want them to actually open the brewery that they're planning on opening some point. Anyways, I don't drink, so it's like, okay, well, they sell cheese making kits. So I bought a couple. One's for like cheddars and one's for mozzarellas and soft cheeses. So I got like the gallon of milk that I need because you need whole milk, and it's been in the fridge. It's almost expired. I'm like, all right, well, I better do this. So by the next show, I have to have made a freaking batch of cheese. Each box makes 30 batches, by the way. And
you can freeze cheese, though.
Yeah. Well,
I will buy cheese from you, okay? So just...
Okay. Well, here's the thing. So I'm reading through this, right? Each batch of cheese takes an entire gallon of whole milk, which is about, what, $4 US dollars or something?
Yeah, about something like that, yeah.
4 to 5. They prefer unpasteurized or, not ultra pasteurized, but you can't find that right now. Anyways, so I bought the milk, bought this kit. It ends up being like, I don't know, like $2, if you break it down per serving, or $1. By the time you price it out, it is cheaper to buy the damn cheese from the store. Oh
yeah, I'm sure it is.
Than to make it. And normally that's the opposite. So I'm like, what have I done? Like, I'm stuck. 30 batches of cheese from each of these kids. So we'll see how it goes. And, reading the directions, they make it sound so easy and fun, but then there's just like so many steps. So much you have to keep track of. So yeah, I'll have to figure out how to document that because, oh my God, I might have a breakdown over some stupid cheese. So yeah, if I have extra, I'll let you know, Eugene, because
absolutely.
Hopefully it doesn't taste awful, but.
Well, yes, that's the stipulation. I don't know if I want to buy cheese that tastes horrible.
That's fair. That's fair.
I need to watch this, so can we video this somehow?
That would be amazing.
I'll let you know. Most of the stuff like this that I do, I chronicle it on Snapchat and just take pictures, but nobody does Snapchat. Y'all don't do Snapchat, so.
No, Instagram it. Instagram it, baby.
I don't understand TikTok.
No, you can Instagram it. Instagram TV.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I have to figure out how to do that. Instagram Live I could do. Or Instagram Stories. I don't know. Anyways.
Just whenever you start, even if it's just us chatting on this, I would really like to be a part of that.
I think that would be
awesome.
You just
want to laugh at me.
No, we're here to encourage.
No, we will motivate. We will encourage and help and mute when I start laughing.
Yeah. I may not, but I will definitely be encouraging. I promise.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Hold on. I gotta make sure I write this down because I will forget that. Let's see. Make cheese. Okay.
You won't forget that, I'm sure.
Yeah. So my project is I am definitely going to get that damn thing done. I'm definitely going to get my proton pack done because if I do manage to get a hold of one of these ghost traps, I need to get that done before I get that done. So I'm just like, okay. And then I may have some other projects, but I'm going to hold it to that. I'm looking right at Baby Yoda and he's looking directly at me. Still all gray.
Still creepy as fuck.
He's still all gray. But yeah, so I don't have any interest really to get out the airbrush, but who knows? One of the things that literally either tomorrow, depending on how the rain goes, tomorrow or Friday, I'm going to get out and get a bunch of work done in the yard because it's been needing it, and we haven't had bulk pickup, and now we're going to have bulk pickup, although apparently they were still doing tree branches and stuff. I didn't know about that. But yeah,
give me your compost.
So, if you want it, I might try to figure it out. So, but yeah, so proton pack is that I've got to get that done. So, because it will be a huge thing off of my list that I can get knocked out, and then I can feel better about other things. So, but we hopefully we will see. So, with that said, that is our show for the month, ladies and gentlemen. If you would please give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, Google Music, Stitcher, wherever you listen to the show. You can also check out our other shows, the Epically Geeky Show, Marginally Geeky, Sustainably Geeky, and Procrastinators. Most of them we've actually talked about what's going on during this time. So, if you're going through it as well, give them a listen. We talk about the things that we're watching, the things that we're reading. And then of course, there is hope for the planet, hopefully. So, having everyone at home is actually helping with that. So, but yeah, just definitely check out our other shows. It'd be awesome. Then of course you can always find us at Epically Geeky on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and of course at epicallygeeky.com. Where can we find you on the internet, Jennifer?
Here on all the shows you just mentioned, except for Procrastinators. And on Sustainably Geeky, we've had 2 episodes come out, like we talked about earlier. The bonus episode where we talk about, well, it's just me, my visit to Living Lands and Waters Alternative Spring Break in early March before everything shut down around the world. And then the last one was the one released this week, which was our interview with Dr. John Nielsen Gammon, the Texas State climatologist. So pretty cool. And on the social media, you can find me Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Het's Gonna Be Me.
Ray, where can we find you online?
All the shows you mentioned, except for Sustainably Geeky, because I don't jump on there too often. I think I've only been
Just
on
when
one
there's
episode,
cars.
Just the one.
Yeah. Which, spoiler alert, we're looking at Navy eventually. So.
Yeah.
Yay!
Nice.
And then on Instagram, you can find me, the Reluctant Yeti. I do have an Etsy shop, which is, there's only one thing posted right now. I've pulled everything else. I had somebody contact me about one of my skateboards. So I've kind of left that one up just in case they do order it. But with the move coming up, I'm going to probably close that down, which I will talk to you, Eugene, about maybe telling me how to do that if it's more complicated than what I've done. And then hopefully I'll have a lot more to add to it when we move. So
Good deal.
excited about that.
Chris, where can we find you online?
On everything that you mentioned except for Procrastinators.
It's such a fun show.
I don't video games.
When's the last one you did? When did that go up?
Month ago?
Procrastinators?
Last month.
Last month.
Oh, did you do one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually did one, believe it or not. And actually, we're
I
technically
missed
supposed to do another one this weekend, but I haven't talked to anyone, and I haven't played the game yet, so I don't think that's going to happen.
Procrastinators.
We are pros.
Yes.
at
Been up to that name.
So,
Yeah,
So yeah, we interrupted. Sorry.
that's okay. It's totally fine. Yeah, you find me there and on Instagram at The Burrow Life.
very nice. And as always, you can find me at Optimus Jane on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. For everyone on the site, have a good night.